It was just another everyday scene at Heathrow, you know. People were hustling and bustling, families gripping their passports tight, business folks practically glued to their phones, little kids pulling on their parents' sleeves like, "Are we there yet?" The whole terminal had that wild energy, the usual chaos, no cap. But Officer William Thorne? Nah, he wasn't letting anything get past him. You see, his whole deal was spotting the stuff everyone else just totally missed. And right there beside him, you bet, was his loyal German Shepherd Ben, all ears, nose always on point. They'd seriously walked these halls a million times, no kidding. And low-key, nothing ever really popped out as different. But hey, this time, this was different. Then, just like that, Ben stopped dead in his tracks. His whole body went stiff, his eyes locked straight ahead, and his nose, it lifted, catching on to something totally invisible, like for real. William frowned, giving the leash a gentle tug. "What is it, boy?" But Ben was having none of it. Nope. His muscles were rigid, tail straight up, laser-focused. That dog's attention was unshakable. William followed his partner's intense gaze, no cap. Peering through the whole rush of passengers, he spotted a tiny girl, maybe around 7 years old. Her hand was locked super tight in the grip of a woman wearing this really bright blue coat. Honestly, at first glance, everything looked chill, just another traveler doing their thing. But Ben, he was not buying it for a second. And William, he learned ages ago, you just never, ever diss a dog's gut instinct. Never. Now, before we really dive deep into what happened next, because trust me, this moment was major, a quick shout out. If you're someone who believes in those quiet cries for help, if you know instinct is like a superpower and you're all about those silent heroes who protect the innocent, then take a sec, smash that like button on this video, hit subscribe to MAGSMAN, and share this with anyone who gets that being vigilant can literally save a life. Seriously, your support is fire. It helps us share more stories about the everyday heroes rocking our world. The officer's eyes basically sharpened, no kidding. And then it clicked. He saw it. The girl's other hand. Her tiny fingers were totally trembling as she pressed them flat against the back of the woman's coat. No way was it a wave, not some playful thing. This was intentional, a high-key signal. William's pulse just started racing for real. The girl's shoulders were all hunched up, her eyes glued to the floor. Her lips pressed so tight, like she was absolutely terrified to say a single word. Then she dared this super quick peek. Her eyes met Ben's, wide, pleading, shimmering with pure fear. Just as fast, she looked away again. William's gut just dropped. Nope, no coincidence here. This was, hands down, a cry for help. "All right, boy, show me the way," William said, his voice low. Ben totally surged forward then, his paws clicking a steady rhythm on that shiny floor. William was right behind him, weaving and dodging through the huge crowd. The woman in the blue coat, she didn't even glance back. Her grip on the kid's wrist was super firm, totally controlling. The girl's hand went back to pressing against the coat, but this time it was shaking even harder. William knew that move, you know? He'd seen it a million times with people who were just too scared stiff to talk. Ben let out a low growl deep in his chest, no cap. Most travelers just breezed past, too busy, too in their own heads to pay attention. But William, he noticed everything. He kept a careful, low-key distance, trailing them until they hit a security checkpoint. The woman handed over some documents, and her smile? It was just too fake, too practiced, you know? And her voice was way too sweet to be real. The officer at the desk frowned, looking at the papers. Something was high-key off, didn't add up for real. And then, bam! Ben let out this one sharp, commanding bark. It literally sliced through the whole terminal, no cap. Heads whipped around, people just froze. The girl's lips trembled, and silent words formed that William could totally read, even without her saying a thing. "Help me." William's heart just dropped to his stomach. The little boy beside her, maybe 5 tops, was clinging to a stuffed toy like it was his entire world, the only safe thing he had. The woman's practiced smile totally cracked. She snapped, "Is there a problem? Officer, these are my children." But her grip on the girl's wrist just got tighter. The poor kid flinched. You could tell it hurt. Ben barked again, even louder this time, teeth flashing as he low-key lunged against the leash. The crowd started making a circle, whispers spreading like wildfire. William stepped forward, his badge practically gleaming. "Ma'am, I need you to step aside, right now." Her tone sharpened like instantly. "We have a flight to catch. You're seriously wasting our time." But William wasn't moving an inch, no way. The girl's eyes filled with tears, silent, totally desperate. William made the big call, no cap. "Take them in for questioning, now." Security officers moved fast, closing in. The woman tried to resist at first, her voice getting all high and angry. But once they got her into a private room, her whole act, her mask, started to totally crumble. The girl's hands were shaking as she whispered the words that absolutely shattered the lie. "She's not my mother." The room went dead silent. And Ben? He just lay there by the door, lifted his head like he'd known the truth, waiting for it all along. Iconic. Investigators zoomed in on those documents, and guess what? They were totally fake, didn't match up at all. Under the pressure, the woman's whole story just fell apart. She wasn't a mom, not even close. Turns out she was part of some trafficking ring, moving kids with fake IDs right under everyone's noses, for real. The girl clung to her little brother, tears just streaming down her face. "I tried to signal them, but no one saw me," she whispered. William knelt right there beside her, his voice super soft, eyes steady as a rock. "Someone did," he said, giving Ben a look. And Ben, with his calm, watchful gaze, he said it all without a single sound. No cap. The woman was escorted away in handcuffs, her angry protests totally drowned out by the undeniable truth. The crowd outside would never, ever forget that scene. For the very first time, the little girl's tiny shoulders just relaxed. She knelt down on the floor, wrapping her arms around Ben's thick, comforting fur. "Thank you," she whispered right into his neck. William swallowed hard, blinking back a ton of emotion. Because right then, in that moment, it was crystal clear. Heroes aren't always in uniforms. Sometimes they're walking on 4 paws. That's a high-key vibe. So, if this story just hit you right in the feels, if it reminded you, for real, that courage isn't just a human thing, and that instinct can totally pierce through even the biggest deceptions, then you know deep down that real heroes listen to those signals no one else picks up on. No cap. Please, do us a solid. Smash that like button, subscribe to MAGSMAN, and seriously, share this with anyone who champions the voiceless. Your support is hands down what keeps us going, helping us share more powerful stories that inspire us to be vigilant and full of hope. Before we wrap things up here, I gotta ask you something. Have you ever, seen something super subtle that totally clued you into a much bigger truth? How did your gut feeling guide you in that moment? Drop your thoughts, your stories in the comments below. You bet I read every single one.